Well, as you know, COVID-19, the pandemic causing havoc in 2021. Some are seeing New Year's, sadly, without any loved ones. Let's not forget the reality of COVID-19. While Western Cape also still battling with higher numbers, but as always, they seem to be getting on top of it and always communicating very clearly. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde joining us now on South Africa Tonight. Premier Winde, good evening to you. All the best to you and yours and the province, of course, for the year ahead. How optimistic are you feeling about COVID-19 for 2022?
Hi, Gareth. Thank you very much, and same to you. I hope it's going to be an awesome year. I am feeling more and more optimistic. You know, we've been saying for the last couple of days that it feels like we're in the peak, and judging from what's happening, primarily in Gauteng, how you could see this wave very quickly up and very quickly down. I must say, I've just been looking at the numbers again today, and
Premier Winde, I think we may have lost your connection for a moment. Just while we wait for you to come back to us, Premier Winde, we lost your audio. We're going to bring you the latest on the numbers a little bit later around the country as well, in case you've missed what's happening in KZN and also the Western Cape. Premier Winde, I apologize. I believe you're back with me now. Lost your connection. You were saying you were looking at the numbers.
I seem to. Are you back again? Okay, great.
We are back. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, looking at the numbers in the city of Cape Town, definitely a sort of a minus 28% drop-off in infection numbers. Looking at the winelands, there's a 2% growth, but as you can see, it's very, very small. And I think in general, across the whole province, we're down by 12%, so a negative 12% growth in infection numbers. Our hospital numbers rising slightly, so 1,600 citizens in hospital. But, I mean, as I've said before, we haven't even opened. We've got one field hospital open. Oxygen use is hardly any oxygen use up from a normal oxygen use. So far, the system is handling it well, and the infection rate is coming down.
I don't think you and I have spoken, actually, since the curfew was lifted. Premier, what did you make of the news when that came out, and how do you see that affecting numbers, if at all?
Okay, so, I mean, I've been supportive of removing the curfew. And in actual fact, I'm supportive of removing the whole disaster declaration. I don't think we need to be in a disaster or a state of disaster now. The reason you put these blockages in is to protect your health system, and our health system is coping. So then to get that balance right between lives and livelihoods is critical, and especially now. I mean, the second pandemic, which is a pandemic of poverty, is what we need to be focusing on now. So I welcomed it, absolutely, and I think we've got to put those little bits of regulation in place for management and remove the disaster declaration altogether, and hopefully we can do that in the next couple of weeks.
I know tourism, of course, not just important to your province, Premier, but also to you as well. You keep a very close eye on tourism. You've always spoken about the importance of it. I know it's still early into the year, but how are you feeling about the Western Cape tourism numbers since the beginning of the festive season?
You know, obviously, I want to say our domestic tourism numbers are looking good, and it's really great to welcome South Africans from across the country to come to the province. Obviously, the international numbers are substantially down on pre-COVID numbers, but with the lifting of the red lists and some of the travel bans, we're starting to see those numbers rise. And that's great, because we need to see those sort of moving on into January, February and March, which will be great, because those will be good numbers to start pushing for to get that balance right as South Africans start going back to work in January, start going back to school in January, that we can welcome international tourism. But of course, we've got a lot of work to do. Those numbers are substantially down from where they were pre-COVID numbers.
Tourism, I'm sure, going to look up for a much better 2022. If we could, Premier, for a moment, before I say goodbye to you, move away from COVID-19 for a moment. Pre-COVID-19, you and I would have been talking about road deaths and alcohol-related incidents around the province and how that's been handled. Give me your thoughts on, outside of COVID-19, how the province fared for road crashes and the handling of alcohol abuse.
So, I mean, I want to say that I am unhappy with what's happening on our roads at the moment. MEC David Mitchell has been out there day and night We've got roadblocks across the province. But of course, policing is not the solution. It's trying to fix some of the issues, but it's really about behavior change. And we really have got to make sure that we drive responsibly on our roads. And it's tragic. Every single day I'm getting calls in from Minister Mitchell to tell me about another road crash or another accident. And of course, this is critical. We're losing so many lives on our roads. It's part of the balance between lives and livelihoods. And one of my arguments I was using is saying that at the moment we have about 2 deaths a day in our province from COVID-19. But I mean, we're losing more people to gang violence, and we're losing more people to road traffic accidents and trauma because of how people are driving, either alcohol influenced or just how people are just driving on our roads. And so it's really critical as the holiday season now is going to move into January and start to end. People are going to be going home, and really the plea is, please don't become a statistic and don't end up in one of our trauma wards. We need to be able to be very responsible in how we use alcohol as we celebrate, but also how we travel around on our roads across the province.
Bringing focus back once again to something outside of COVID-19, responsible drinking and responsible driving. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde, as always, a pleasure to have you on eNCA. All the best to you and your team for the year ahead. Still coming.